months. Carbonite.com.
11. This is Morning Blend on WLRH, and I'm delighted to introduce to you Sherrill Amber Humphrey and Ron Harris. And they'll be talking about an upcoming production at Renaissance Theater. Y'all, I want to welcome you to WLRH. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Well,
I think I am. I think I'm glad to be here.
We'll make sure that you are before you go, Ron.
Okay, thank you.
We'll just make you happy. The Mourning Tree is what you're here to talk about. And Sherrill, you have written this. It is a one-woman show about a young girl who goes back home after a 10-year absence, and there are all kinds of things for her to deal with. My first question for you is, how did you think of writing this show? When did all of this start, and where did you get the idea for this?
Well, the idea it started as a monologue, and then I would build and build and build.
Mm-hmm.
And I began writing it in college about my junior year, and I wanted to tell a story specifically about a middle-class family and the struggles that they deal with. And it snowballed, and I decided to do it first as a one-woman show. And I wanted to tell the comparing and contrast issues that mothers and daughters deal with, and how we love our mothers, but at the same time there are things that we don't necessarily agree with,
Right.
but we're so much like them. And I wanted to tell that with this story. And this character is so much like her mother, but there is an issue that split them apart, and so she's dealing with that. And it's a very dramatic story, and I'm fortunate enough to have a wonderful mother where I don't have to deal with what this character deals with. And I gotta say that online,
So it's not
on the radio,
autobiographical.
she can hear me.
Very good.
But it's a very interesting story, and it's a fascinating thing to watch.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, now how?
That was a lovely speech.
Thank you. I did.
That's what you
I did
rehearsed.
the
That was
best-
great.
No, I did the best I could. I just made
Well,
that
you
up
got
right
a
now.
94.
Thank you. I'll take a 94.
94 is good.
It's passing.
She gets 100 Friday night when
Yeah,
we
well, thank you.
perform it.
So do you for putting this together. And Mr. Harris really just did a great job of taking what I wrote and making it so stage ready that it just jumps off the stage. It's
Right.
really.
But you can't jump off the stage.
I can't jump off the
No.
stage. You didn't direct that.
It's not written in.
It's not written in there.
Well, the material was so rich, and
Thank you.
it wasn't easy, but it was very, very collaborative. And we went for several weeks in one direction that no longer is on the stage.
Right.
We
Right.
completely changed it. So we've tried to mix a lot of the different genres of theater and also of storytelling. She breaks the fourth wall.
Yes.
And then she's in real time in the
Yes.
kitchen. And then she's in, thoughts in her mind. She's in a soliloquy now and then. And so it's a big mix, and we hope it works. It's a very stylized set, so
Yes.
there's an element of realism only in Sherrill. And the set's black and white, and Cheryl's in a colored outfit, so we're giving away all the spoilers.
We are. It's a very interesting set and a very interesting wardrobe. And hello, Dr. Humphrey. I want to say hello to my father before I forget. Hello, Daddy.
You better say hello to your mother.
Oh, I said hello, Mommy. Hello, Dorothy Tiller. I love you both equally.
Well, now, Ron, you've done a ton of theater around here, just lots and lots. How did you come to know Sherrill, and how did you get introduced to her, and where did y'all meet? How did y'all decide to do this production?
Well, Sherrill just literally called me one day. I was
Yes, I
working
did.
at Ars Nova, and we did a prep for auditions for graduate school, monologues, and she mentioned that she had a piece that she was working on, and you know, like everybody that comes up and says, I have a play. Would you like to read it, Miss Harrison? I go, yes, just keep working on it. But Sherrill did have one, and it's wonderful. It really is, and it's such a challenge to go and watch her. Every night's different. Last night, she was a different person, and so it's so much fun watching her do all of these levels of finding this character.
Wonderful. Sherrill, you've done some things in theater up at Tennessee State. You were in Tartuffe and
Yes.
What the Wine Cellars Buy. I'd like to know a little bit about those pieces.
Okay, Tartuffe was the first performance that I did at Tennessee State University, the first full-length play, and it's a Moliere piece. And I enjoyed it because it was a comedy, and I played Mary Ann, and I had a lot of fun doing that, and wonderful cast members, and that really allowed me to get my feet wet, to get in the water. The next performance I did was What the Wine Cellars Buy, which was a completely contrasting piece because it was a drama, an extreme drama by Ron Milner. And that story tells the story of an inner city girl who is trying really, really hard to fight the issues at hand, trying to become something excellent when only tragedy is presented to her. And so that piece sort of allowed me to get more into drama and to find my strengths and what I could work on. I view theater as a piano, and there are high notes and there are low notes, and so being in those two performances really helped me to find my range.
And that piece was how I was introduced to Sherrill.
Yes.
When I didn't know Sherrill at all, and I said, well, what do you know? And she started this incredible realistic
It's got
monologue
an extreme
from it.
monologue in What the Wine Cellars Buy.
And I told her, I said, well, I don't know if I can teach you anything. I'm going home.
He's modest. He's being very kind.
No, it was wonderful. She's probably one of the best non-techniqued mannered actresses I've ever worked with. It's just very realistic because she's doing herself. You know, she's written this, and therefore there's no acting. It's just being. It's really, really interesting to sit there. And what was it, 17 notes last night was all? We started out with 40, 50,
yes, we started
60.
off with about 40, 50, 60 notes, and we've so
Down to
many notes,
17.
overwhelming. But we got it down to 17, and now we're just polishing. And it's a brilliant show. I'm just happy that Mr. Harris was able to give my vision a frame and make it so visible on the stage, and we would love to have all of you come out. There's something for all of us to learn, and I really think you'll enjoy it. If you haven't seen a one-woman show, this is the show to see.
Very good. Well, now, Sherrill, have you met any Tartuffes since doing the Moliere piece? In real life? Might be some of them out there.
No Tartuffe. I have not met a Tartuffe. So,
oh, wow. That could be a fun experience.
I bet.
Now, Sherrill's play, Sherrill Amber Humphrey, that is, she's my guest today, along with Ron Harris, and they are doing a play at Renaissance Theater. It's called The Mourning Tree, a one-woman show. This will play Friday and Saturday, September 20th and 21st at 7 p.m. with a matinee on Sunday, September 22nd at 3 p.m. Well, now, since there's only one person in the cast, it's just you two working together.
We can't say that. There is a surprise.
There's a surprise.
Okay, that's it.
That's it.
No
Because
more.
I will mess it up.
Don't give away anymore.
We've given away too many spoilers.
Very good, very good. Well, I would like to know a little bit more about your writing and creative writing, Sherrill. When did you start writing creatively?
Well, that's a very interesting question. I appreciate you for asking it because I was just thinking the other day when I was growing up and in school, I was always a daydreamer, just always. And I never thought to write down what I was daydreaming. Had I done that, I probably would have about, I don't know, probably 50 pieces. When I left home to go to Tennessee State University and study in theater, I began to see other people writing and acting, and I also understood that this was my niche. And so I just tried one day, and it started off as poetry, and then small stories, and then, of course, it evolved into this. And it just continues, and I've written more, and I'm working on something else, which is also a surprise. But this is really something that evolved from poetry and evolved from daydreaming.
Fantastic. Ron, I would like to know, have you ever directed a one-person show before?
Yes. As you know, one of the great actresses in this area, Betty Yeager, is no longer with us. And back in 2000, I directed her one-woman show where she did a research piece on two historical Alabama women that changed the women's rights here in the state. So, and I talked to Sherrill about that this was something that I look forward to taking on with her, because I'd had such a wonderful time with Betty.
She was wonderful. I remember seeing her doing pieces.
I believe.
She was a wonderful actress. Yes, indeed. Are you ever thinking of doing a one-person show yourself, writing one for yourself to do?
Well, I occasionally get on stage by myself at Merrimack with stories from my book, but I don't know if that's a one-man show or what it is. It's a shooting from the hip kind of thing. And did a joint one this past spring with Greg Screws. So, yeah, I'm on the stage occasionally.
It's fun to be on stage by yourself and also with other people. Sherrill, I'd like to ask you, my next question is, when you are all alone, what is the greatest challenge in performing this piece? I'm sort of thinking it might have to do with changing colors, changing dynamics, changing rhythm and pattern.
Yes.
What do you find to be the most challenging part of doing a one-woman piece?
Well, exactly what you said. The most difficult part, or the biggest opportunity I have to continue to work on, would be making sure that the energy stays where it needs to be to ensure that the audience is with me. And that involves a lot of what Mr. Harris talked about, which changes the dynamics in the stage, where I break the fourth wall, and then where the fourth wall magically just comes back. And there are so many things in this performance that will keep me busy and will keep the audience entertained. And my main thing is just to stay focused on the moment and to make sure I'm in the moment and compassionate about the character's experience.
Right.
And it's also, she's written it very episodically, and so it's easy for us to work on different episodes. And that way, she doesn't have to think ahead what's next, because it's done as if it were like 5 or 6 monologues.
Wonderful. So they all go in order.
Yes.
Fantastic. Sherrill, I have one last question for you, and that is, are you thinking of writing some more theater, perhaps with more people in it this next time?
I have a surprise in reference to that question, and I will post it on Facebook as well as on my website, thepurplesoapbox.com. Hello, Henry Lavalle. Thank you for putting that website together. I will post that after the Sunday show. And so everyone, is going to be exciting, and there will be some surprises. So I'd love to have you with me.
Do I get to know it before they do?
Of course you get to know it, because I'm going to need your help.
Oh my goodness. Opened my mouth, didn't I?
It sounds
well.
wonderful. It sounds wonderful. Well, Ron, is there anything else you'd like us to know about this show before we go?
Well, it's, we pretty much have a 3-minute attention span with we say, did you see that song? Instead of, did you hear that song? So we've tried very hard to, without making it direct obviousness. We talk a lot about tricks, and we talk about signpost words and things like just to wake up that audience, especially that Sunday afternoon one.
Yes.
The matinee one. I'm serious. It's very important that you keep it on this attention span that we've developed, which is very little. And so it's been fun, breaking it all up into visual surprises.
Wonderful. Well, it sounds like a really good show, and it will be at Renaissance Theater on Friday and Saturday, September 20th and 21st. Performances at 7 p.m. and a matinee on Sunday, September 22nd at 3 p.m. Renaissance Theater is located at 1214 Meridian Street in Huntsville. This is called The Mourning Tree, a one-woman show by Sherrill Amber Humphrey, who is a native of Huntsville. And my other guest today is Ron Harris, who's directing this show. I want to thank both of you for being here and telling me about this wonderful creative work.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks, Beth.
And looking forward to hearing about more things that Sherrill and Ron will be